Hello guys, and welcome to Tracetainment. In today's video, we're going to be taking a shift on how we're doing these videos. I want to get more content out for you guys. I know the short videos get straight to the point, but there's a lot of other things that we're missing on a daily basis, so I'm just going to try to put it all into one video for you guys. But you guys will not believe who just endorsed former President Donald Trump, and I have a nice video for you guys at the end. Check this video out. Alrighty, so here goes the first clip, and I'm going to say this. This endorsement is different from every other endorsement because he does not care who continues to follow him or not because of his political belief. And that really meant a lot to me because he is standing up for what he thinks is right. That's it. But let's hop right into this clip.
I'm looking at ideas and which ideas land on which side of the aisle. Where am I most likely going to get a tax policy I like, an immigration policy I like, a foreign policy I like? Where am I most likely to get a gun policy I like, a climate change policy I like, a woke policy I like, that I agree with? Where am I most likely to get that? And I can check those boxes very clearly, very quickly on these two candidates. So I'm going to tell you, I'm voting for Donald Trump, not because I'm voting for Donald Trump.
Are we going here?
That's okay. But because I'm voting, I check those boxes, and more of those are on that side than on the other side. Some of you are never going to listen to me again after this. That's okay. I can deal with that. That's happened to me for 30 years. People have threatened me that I'm going to cancel you. That's hard to do. I own the show. And so you're not going to get to cancel me. So you can leave, but you can't cancel me.
So Dave Ramsey had made his decision, and the decision he made was on things that he liked and what he think is right. You know, he looked at both options and he made an ultimate decision. And I don't blame him because that decision that he made is a great decision. It's a really great decision. There are things that you got to think about in life that's important to you and making your ultimate decision. But just think about what's been going on this past few years too. Because inflation right now is pretty crazy. And we don't got to deal with it anymore. We have an option not to deal with it anymore. I mean, think about it when you go to the grocery store. Think about it when you put fuel in your tank. I mean, enough's enough, and we got a clear way not to deal with it anymore. This next clip that I have here, I'm not going to say it will shock you, but it's like no surprise. It stunned the MSNBC host asking the questions. This is pretty crazy. All right, here it goes.
Who's voting for Kamala Harris here? Absolutely no.
No. Not possible.
There's nothing she can do or say for us to change our mind.
No hands were raised. Look at it again.
Who's voting for Kamala Harris here? Absolutely no.
No. Not possible.
There's nothing she can do or say for us to change our mind.
Who's voting for Kamala Harris here?
Wow. There is nothing that she can do to change their mind. They are 100% confident in their decision. They did not raise their hand. As soon as she asked that question, everyone was just, They didn't even have to look at each other because they knew that question, nobody was going to raise their hands. In this clip, he explains the decisions that were made did have some consequences to him. So check it out. Sorry, I don't know.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow. So, President Trump looked like a real winner at the Al Smith dinner last night. He was positive, calm, and right on message. We've got Sandra Smith, Steve Forbes, and Charlie Hurt joining us right here on set in just a moment. It's a huge crowd. Plus, former Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross is going to come on and talk trade with me. And then some heavy-duty politics with Kellyanne Conway and Newt Gingrich. But first, Donald Trump looked like a winner at the Al Smith dinner last night, and that's the subject of the riff. So the Al Smith dinner was in New York City, but it was televised everywhere, and is probably going to be the last truly national event in the presidential campaign. Kamala Harris didn't show up, and so she lost.
Think about that. The last biggest event, and she did not make it. That was a very important event too. It was a very important event. And when I say that, you guys are gonna be like, what the, when you see what video, or I don't know if he's gonna play the video or not, but if he doesn't, you might hear about the video that she sent in and it will blow your mind, I'm telling you guys.
Donald Trump showed up, and so he won. Some things are just that simple. Now, you'd think it would just cost her among Catholic voters, where she's already lost enormous ground, but frankly, her cringeworthy, bizarre, weird video, which so many people in the audience took as an insult and put down to Catholics, probably cost her Catholic and non-Catholic votes as well. It was an incredibly bad taste. And you know what? Following the Bret Baier interview, along with last night's weird video, the Kamala Harris strategy pretty clearly is to avoid any serious issues and instead just try to attack Donald Trump.
So I'm guessing he's seen the interview between Vice President Kamala Harris and Bret Baier. And Bret, he did a pretty good job, I would say, during the interview because he asked some questions. I mean, she didn't really give actual answers, I would say. She gave answers, but they weren't like answers to the actual question that he was asking. There's a couple questions that Bret had asked and they needed actual answers, like numbers to it, or would you apologize? And like, there was just things that she was just skipping across with no answers. And I'm just like, why didn't she really answer that question? Why did she just skip across it? I don't know.
And that's in bad taste. Not to suggest that every joke Donald Trump made last night was worth repeating. but a little rowdy crowd. But he did have a couple that were genuinely funny singers, including one of my favorites, that Tim Walz wasn't there, but he's going to tell people he was. Trump also got a big laugh when he said how wonderful it was to be in New York City voluntarily without a subpoena.
What's crazy is when Trump had said that, Latita James was right in the row behind him. I thought, like, when he said that and I knew that she was there, I couldn't imagine what kind of like phrase, expression, or anything that she had, because she knew that he was referring to her. He was 100% referring to her. And she was just sitting in the back, and I'm just like, oh my, no, he didn't. You guys, please go check it out if you haven't seen it, because the jokes that Trump said were very funny. Like, he had everybody laughing. But it was even more funnier that Latita James was right behind him as he was saying it. It's crazy.
And then he said the dinner had to end soon because the room was rented out to migrants later on. You know, just good, clean fun. But Trump was relaxed, clearly in a good space. He wasn't able to use a teleprompter, but he read very, very well from his notes. Early the next morning, he looked equally relaxed and at ease, appearing on the popular show Fox and Friends. Before the Al Smith dinner, by the way, he visited a barber shop in the Bronx and shared common experiences with that group. Finally, he took a bunch of questions on the tarmac as he flew out this morning to Detroit for more campaigning. Kamala Harris's people are saying he's not appearing before the media. Really? That's nuts. He's everywhere, answering questions and showing his high content message for the future of America. Okay, he's talking issues. He's talking economy, border, crime, energy, inflation, Elon Musk, and deregulation to shrink the government.
They are out talking about things that the people want to hear. You know, the economy, inflation, crime, the border. They are talking about things that people want to hear. You know, I hear all these other discussions about this happening and that happening, but it's not pertaining to what the people want to hear and what they're experiencing in their lives currently right now. Like, Trump is hard on inflation. He's hard on the prices. He's hard on the border. He's hard on the crime. Those are things that people want to hear, especially on the economy. Who doesn't want to hear about how can we make the economy better? Because the prices that we're paying right now are outrageous. You go to the grocery store, you're going to have to open that wallet. And I mean open that wallet. You go put fuel in your car. You're going to have to open that wallet. And I mean open that wallet. That sounds a little familiar. I'm not going to say it.
He's talking tax cuts. He's talking tariffs to protect America from unfair trading practices by our competitors. Now, let's stop there for a moment. EU tariffs, Europe, are 50% higher than the United States. China tariffs are more than twice as high as the United States. Brazil tariffs are 3.5 times as high. India tariffs are over 5 times as high.
Wow.
And these are all big trading partners with the U.S. And that great tariff policeman in the sky, called the WTO, World Trade Organization, permits these countries to get away with it. So let me just say, the time is long past in American politics where the U.S. can just stand by and do nothing while our foreign competitors and adversaries rip us off.
Yeah, we don't need that to happen. Hopefully, we get some change because we need to get the economy back to where it used to be. We need some big changes. Like, there is too much crazy stuff going on right now. Like, you go out to go buy a car. The car prices are crazy. I mean, you go to the grocery store to go get groceries. I mean, you're spending a fortune for things that you could have got back then for cheaper. It's just like we need to get back to those times where we're able to save more money in our pocket, where we didn't have to work extra hours just to make ends meet. Like, it's just enough. It's just enough. Like, you don't need no more of it. We need to get back to those times. Like, especially the stuff with this border, that shouldn't be happening at all. There was innocent people that have lost their lives. And that right there just shouldn't happen. That's a whole nother level. That shouldn't happen at all. Nowhere, no time. Shouldn't be nothing to that effect ever happening. But let me know what you guys think about today's video in the comment section. That'll be a wrap for today's video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.